Hello again, welcome back to section 2. So this is the section we're going to start breaking down those hormones and neurotransmitters. We're going to make it a lot easier for you to understand. We're going to deal with melatonin in this section. Now that's classed as the sleep hormone, that's what it's known as. But before we get into melatonin itself, we need to discuss the differences between hormones and neurotransmitters. It's important you know the difference. This is as technical as it's going to get, so don't worry, it gets easier after this, and if I can understand it, so can you. So, hormones. Hormones travel through the blood. They act far more slowly than neurotransmitters do, and they're secreted by glands within the body. We'll go into that in more detail later on. Hormones are associated with things like your growth, energy, injury, stress, repair, recuperation. Neurotransmitters, however, think about emissions from the brain. The brain produces those, and neurotransmitters travel through the central nervous system, not the blood. Hormones travel through the blood, neurotransmitters through the central nervous system. Neurotransmitters, because they're emitted by the brain as electrical impulses, they're rapid and very short duration. And neurotransmitters are associated with things that you take for granted, things like your heart rate, your breathing, your digestion and muscle movement. So there's key differences there between the two, and we're going to break down which one is which and how they work. So let's get back to melatonin. Melatonin is a naturally occurring sleep-inducing hormone, so the body makes it itself, and this happens in the pineal gland in the brain. So this hormone has to be water soluble, obviously. It has to pass through the blood-brain barrier, which it does very effectively. So how does the pineal gland work with regards to melatonin production then? It is as simple as this. I'm going to break it down very, very easily for you. The pineal gland in the brain picks up on the environment. So when it starts to get dark, it produces melatonin and we sleep. When it starts to get light, it stops the production of melatonin and we wake. It basically is as simple as that. It doesn't get any more technical than that. Dark, melatonin production, we sleep. Light, melatonin production stops and we wake. Now this takes time. It isn't just like on a light switch. So this is what we talk about when I talk about the 3 hours prior to bedtime. I call it the darkening. That's my nickname for it. And that's a golden 3 hours. So that 3 hours should be used to get your body and your brain just to tone down, to wind down and get ready for melatonin production. That's what that 3 hours should all be about. Things like dimming your lights and lessening the sound. Get your body just to calm down and tone down. Now, darkness kicks off the production of melatonin. The pineal gland picks that up in the brain and kicks off the production of it. However, there is something else that gets the body to start producing melatonin, and that's infrared. So think about your incandescent red lights, your red strip light heaters, and campfires is a perfect example. If you sit by something which is infrared, you're going to feel sleepy after a while because your body is picking up on the infrared and producing melatonin. However, the opposite of that is blue light. So think about blue light sources, so your iPhone, your iPad, things like this, your television. You're watching those blue light sources prior to bedtime and your body falsely thinks it's light and it stops producing melatonin. That's a big issue when you're trying to get to sleep, obviously. So melatonin has other roles in the body, some significant as well, not just around sleep. So it's vital when you think about your day-night sleep-awake cycle. That's called your circadian rhythm. Yep, circadian rhythm. Now, melatonin synchronises this. And again, to break it down to simply understand it, it's melatonin wakes you when you should and it puts you to sleep when you should. So it synchronises this circadian rhythm, your day-night sleep-awake cycle. Melatonin also reduces blood pressure. It's a very powerful antioxidant in its own right, and it's anti-inflammatory. It boosts the immune system as well, and it also helps other antioxidants carry out their roles. So you can see how vital a role melatonin actually plays within the body. Another forgotten role for melatonin, and it's a very important one for some people, is it's vital for making, secreting and actioning insulin. Now that's very important for diabetics and pre-diabetics. So melatonin reduces insulin resistance, So it stops the onset of diabetes. So you can see how important this hormone is. So if your circadian rhythms are wrong, what will happen is you will have high concentrations of melatonin in your body at the wrong times. Now, if that's okay short term, so you might have the odd bad night's sleep, and that's fine, we can recover from that. However, if that's chronic, if your circadian rhythm is offset and out of sync, chronic, so it's long term, then that's going to kick in some other serious health issues. It's going to kick in weight gain for sure, depression, insulin resistance and diabetes, anxiety, lots of other health issues can kick in if that problem becomes chronic. So it's important we have our circadian rhythm set. Melatonin production starts when it should and stops when it should. It's very important for the body. So what can we do to help that happen? So exercise is a key one. Now exercise is going to be predominant all the way through these sections. It has so many benefits for your body, and melatonin production is affected by exercise. But there's certain foods we can eat as well. Now, one I don't eat a lot of, to be honest, is cherries. So tart cherry juice is an excellent source of melatonin. Walnuts, eggs, fish, milk, nuts, ginger, all those are really good for melatonin production. Now, I do talk about, as part of the pre-sleep routine, I talk about a drink that I've actually concocted and put together, and ginger forms a part of that. And that's obviously associated with what I call the darkening. That's 3 hours before you go to bed. So that's melatonin. The next section we're going to deal with serotonin, which is classed as the happy hormone. So we've dealt with the sleep hormone now. Go back to your workbook and use your assessment sheets as well, just to make sure you check understanding before you move on to the next one. But that basically covers melatonin and what melatonin is all around. So thanks for listening again. I'll see you on the next slide. Bye bye for now.